Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
sweetie.
here we are, darling.
We are here.
Back on YouTube. This will be on.
Um, and looking forward to just general conversation today because it's been a while. And there's been so much in the works and in the pipeline.
Yep.
And we're at the stage of bringing forth what we've been working on. And I think
Yeah.
it's about time that we showed our faces.
Yep.
Showed our
Yep.
faces. And yeah. Shared what's been going on and um where we're headed, what we're doing, just bits and pieces about everything. And just
Yeah.
just conversation on just like whatever's been um at the forefront of our minds over the last few weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much going on in the current climate. So yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. Um, so many, I mean, we have these conversations amongst ourselves a lot. Just about even this year, like so many shifts and changes and just personal elevations, what we like to call initiations that we have kind of gone through,
Same.
um, personally together, because our experiences are always mirroring each other throughout our lives, which is something that we're going to dive further and further into.
Mhm.
Just with the Her Emerald Club community in general.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like we're at a unique state because I feel like throughout our lives it's been us kind of we've been the only ones kind of really, really, really privy to every,
Yeah, I know what
everything
you're saying.
that's we've gone through and been through and undergone, and it's like there's been kind of no one outside of ourselves who have understood what
Mm,
we have been going through at the core of the levels. And I feel like we're at a pivotal point now because with everything that we're doing with her Emerald Club, it kind of feels like we're finally like actually inviting people
yeah.
in a way that's actually impactful and in a way that so many are going to understand. I think that's because of the climate that we're in. We're like
Mhm.
shifting into this new era, and it's like this is the time for this. We've been prepping for this our whole life, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely in agreement, alignment as usual. And it does feel like that, like what you said, kind of giving people kind of having access now to
yeah,
see things that only we have previously been privy to in
yeah,
terms of just growth and expansion and ideas and just creative ventures and community and just expansiveness in thought and in consciousness and just so many things. So sometimes I do find it difficult to put words to this experience because
yeah,
it's so wonderfully complex. And it's an experience that is
yeah,
it's an experience, so it's felt. And the understanding is in part intellectual, but mostly resonance.
yeah.
And so
That's yeah,
trying to articulate that sometimes can be tricky. I think other people can probably attest to that. Like sometimes you're going through something, you're having this experience, and maybe you do want to share with others. But how and in what way and what language you use to kind of express that matters in order for you to kind of communicate effectively. But also on the other hand, I'm realizing that sometimes whatever phrases and words and terminologies you want to use at that time, use it. Those who are meant to get it will get it. And
yeah,
that's been a running theme throughout our whole lives. If you understand, you understand. If it's for you, it's for you.
yeah,
If it's not, and it goes right over your head, then so be it. That's fine. That's fine too.
yeah.
So,
I feel like that's why we're doing what we're doing at this particular time because with everything that's not just going on in the world, just the energetic shifts that are happening throughout the collective. Like so many people have spoken on, like there's an awakening going on, and however you frame that, through whichever construct like fits you, um, so many people are noticing that something is going on, and it's all energetic. And I feel like because of this collective awakening, we're at a stage where so many are going to actually be able to hear, like internally hear of what we're saying. Because, like you just said, it's so much of it is about resonance.
Yeah.
It's not. And I was saying this on Threads the other day. Like we're coming into a time where it's like words are not going to be enough.
Not cutting. It's not
It's
cutting.
not cutting it, and there's so many conversations now around energetic communication, and then there's like the telepathy tapes podcast, which we
Ooh, I can't wait to have a conversation about that because just so sorry to cut you. It's just
cut me,
so
cut me. This is how our conversations go.
it's so this once again words failing me, but there was so much um light shed on a community that most misunderstand. And also, there was so much in there that most of us, many of us, had already been privy to and aware of in terms of
Yeah,
like consciousness and there being this collective field and this collective state that
yeah,
we all have access to. But then science kind of just catching up to that idea,
yeah,
it not realizing like this is like way deeper and so much more quantum than you can possibly understand and
yeah,
imagine. And so the telepathy tapes was just for me a phenomenal um podcast that really highlighted um at a time where it's just so impactful and I don't know even how to describe this, but it just felt like such a monumentous occasion to sit down and listen to it in
yeah.
its entirety.
It was, and you know, it couldn't have a podcast like that could not have had the success that it's had. And I say success in terms of the vast amount of people like listening and like accepting and then diving into this information themselves. Because what I was going to say is it couldn't be before this time. It couldn't be before this time. Like people are in the space now to actually truly listen to this type of information because of personal awakenings that's going on within everybody, whatever that looks like, no matter how small or how tiny the nudges may feel. Everyone's going through something, and so even down like what you said about science just catching up and everything, that's a huge deal because so many different like spiritual communities and practices and religions throughout the history of humanity have all attempted to translate and articulate consciousness. And it has been, worded, and certain texts have come about describing essentially what I believe to be the same thing. And so now science has come, and so many people are speaking up and diving into like the idea that the paradigm has been wrong all along, and with a paradigm in which consciousness is the foundation, everything changes. But then that also provides an explanation,
There's so many.
and for so
Yeah.
many things within spirituality, within religion, um, and it doesn't diminish it like that. That science and spirituality merge has the power to unite everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just wanted to backtrack a little because for those who haven't watched the telepathy tapes, first of all, go on Spotify, go on go on wherever you need to find
Listen,
wherever
it's
there's
phenomenal.
podcasts, is you need to listen to this. And it's essentially a documentary filmmaker called Kai Dickens, I believe her name was,
Yes.
and she embarked on this. journey that where she alongside other researchers and professionals in the scientific field, I'll say, realized that there are those who belong to the non-speaking community. So maybe people, children who have autism, or for whatever reason are non-verbal, actually discovering that they can communicate telepathically. And I'm not even going to explain any further than that because I'm not going to do the podcast any justice in my limited explanation. But this is essentially um, a journey that that Kai Dickens takes us on, where you can see she takes you through the process of the research, the studies, assessments, and really helps the listener to truly understand like the gravity of what she's discovered and the fact that this isn't something that is new. This is something that institutions have been aware of for a very long time, but
Yep.
for various reasons, it has been kept hush hush, it's been kept kind of quiet. And those who are part of this non-speaking community, by way of this podcast, have been um, given access to, oh, no, so I won't even say been given access, have been validated in their experience, which I think is a really pivotal part of
Yeah.
their experience, but the experience for humanity, because it helps you to understand that there's so much more um, at play than we can possibly imagine. And we're not just talking about when you think of telepathy, having reading people's minds, and we're talking about sharing information, pulling information from some conscious space and being able to relay information that you've never been taught, that you've never been shown, and having all this access to knowledge and information um, that is, I would say, on one hand, unexplainable, but it totally is when you start to understand what's going on. So that's just the background, as a simplified version of what the telepathy tapes is, and it's a
Yes.
fantastic listen. It was number one on was it Spotify podcasts, I
I
think,
think so.
like a long time. I think it overtook Joe Rogan because
And
it
it's
was.
like that says something. Like says something about where people are. And
Mhm.
it's so crazy because we have these conversations about, you know, our own individual realities and how everybody else is living in literally their own reality. And you can go onto somewhere like the internet, and depending on how your algorithm is set up, and that's according to what you engage with, right? You can think that the whole world is focusing on a particular thing, and that's not the case.
So far from it.
So far from it. And it's like just these things like this, seeing that so many people are tapping into certain information and the rise of certain information. And again, I'm speaking from my reality, but this is what I'm experiencing. Um, it's so many people are awakening fast. It's like tapping out of because there's a kind of another side to this whole shift in the world where a lot of doom is projected from a certain angle, but like that's not necessarily the case. It doesn't have to be the case. And something that we do is really focus on the fact that like reality creation, when people talk about creating your own reality, like it goes so deep. It goes so deep. It's not just simply, manifesting certain things that you want, and like that's definitely a part of it. But on the most minuscule level, like you can completely shift your own paradigm and create in a way that does seem and feel inconceivable. And this is why we've conjured up Emerald Club, because the way in which we are able to expand as people in general, but as women, because
Mhm.
that's where our focus is. Um, like as when women wake up truly,
Yeah,
truly to this power that they have, um, it's game over. It's a game changer.
it really is. It really is a game changer, and I'm so glad. I think that's a good segue into like just discussing her Emerald Club and what we have going on.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting. It's something that is necessary. It's there's several parts at play at once with her Emerald Club. And it is a space for women to really explore the expansiveness of their being.
Mm.
Let's start there, like the expansiveness of her being. And by that, we mean every way conceivable, like anything that you can think of, any aspect of the divine feminine is
Yeah.
to be explored and embraced. And it is necessary, in our opinion, and I can speak confidently for both of us in this
You
moment,
can.
it's necessary in our opinion to really at this moment in time come together as women and understand the power that we have
Yeah.
as a collective and as a community for both the individual and for the community. Um, there's so many wonderful, beautiful, divine feminine beings who are wanting to connect and have conversations and grow and expand amongst other divine feminine beings similar to themselves. And what we have done is create both a movement and an app in which this can take place.
Yeah.
So, with our app, which will be launching this spring, um, we have, I'm torn between explaining parts and withholding some because there's so much that we're bringing to the forefront. You know what? Let's just explain. Let's just
Yeah.
explain.
I mean, we can dive into her Emerald Club as like the energetics of her Emerald Club as a whole, right? Because her Emerald Club in itself is it's a world that we're building essentially. We are building a world, and the app that we are launching in the spring is the inner sanctuary of that world.
Mhm.
It is the heart of the world, and it's just the beginning.
Mm,
Um, the app is the hub to bring it's a global society that we're building. So it's the app is the central hub to bring women from all over together to tap into tools, resources, community, and conversations
mhm.
um, that help them to embody expansion
Yeah.
in a way that they haven't before. And I always say, like, serious magic and power is generated when women come together. Like, we have so much more in common than we even realize.
Yeah.
So many of the perceived differences that women think they have out there are really, really surface level. Because when you really get down to the bottom, there's so much that we can benefit from when it comes to one another.
Yeah.
And so her Emerald Club is about that. Like we're not honing in on any particular like pathway or way of being. Like this is to show you that when you get down to the deeper layers of you,
Mhm.
this is what is possible.
Yeah.
So many things are true at one time. So many things can be true. And we're also such fluid beings by nature. We are unpredictable at times. We contradict ourselves a lot. And that's just the nature of being a conscious human being. I
As
think
well.
we've been brought up in a society that says, choose a particular pathway and you have to pick a particular label or box and this and that, and then you end up trying to fit yourself into a box. But the nature of just human expansion is that you're going to be led in different directions at different points of your lives. And so what ends up
And at
happening
the
when we
same time.
that right, exactly. We attach ourselves to a box. And then when we are internally feeling called to go in a particular direction, now we have to do the work to release the attachments from the box that we're in, because now we've got all these agreements and beliefs that tells us that we must stay in this box. And it's like, no, like we're literally here saying like all of this can be true at once. You don't even need a box. So many times I feel like we are looking for a label and box so that we can feel a sense of belonging.
Mhm.
Like I belong to a particular group, or and to be accepted. And it's like when you realize you don't you already belong, number one, because
Mhm.
you are a part of the whole
Mhm.
already, and that the only person that needs to accept you is you. Like everything opens up,
Yeah.
everything.
And I think that is, well, you've summed that up beautifully. You've summed her Emerald Club up beautifully. And I think this is the part where women, by virtue of coming together, really will understand that we are one of the same. We are one and the same. Like, and there's so much magic and power that happens, like you said, when we really and truly come together. But you first got to understand that we are all one.
Yeah,
We're all one, and that's as women, but also as humans, as
yeah,
people navigating this experience at the same time. Like, what are the chances that all of us right now are experiencing this lifetime at the same time? This
right.
is a powerful this is a powerful point in time in everybody's experience. And I think her Emerald Club is really for those who are ready to understand the depths of what we just said, because there's layers. There's layers,
So many layers.
and there's more layers, and then you think that you've got somewhere, and then suddenly you realize there's more work to be done, and there's more work to be done. But that is the nature of this experience. It's like expansion upon, like it's a never ending
And
expansion
it's
process.
freeing. It's so freeing.
Liberating. It really and truly is liberating. But we spend so much of our time trying to hold on to these constructs and these boxes and these identities that we've created, not knowing that we are in like self-imposed shackles. Like,
Literally.
we're put imprisoning ourselves. I had a conversation with somebody earlier this week, actually, and it was to do with politics. And I was basically saying, like, I'm disinterested. And many will find that, like, for them, offensive. Like, hold on,
Such
you
as
don't
pearls.
touch his pearls. You're not interested in politics. And trigger warning here, you don't vote. Because I know that's going to turn a lot of people off. And it's like you start to understand when you get to a certain point in time that, or along your experience, that you get to play whatever game you want to play. You get to be a part of what you choose to be a part of. And if you decide that something is not actually part of your experience, it's as simple as that. And so many of us have these wonderful lyrics that we say and these ideas that we share across social media platforms and on threads. But how many of you are actually using this and it being a lived experience? When you truly say like you are sovereign, or you are operating in a particular type of way, or you are the creator of your reality. How deep does that go for you? Because
Yeah.
it can get to a certain point where it's like, okay, yeah, I somewhat believe that. But the truth is, if you're still reliant on all of these different contexts and institutions and all of these different things, how much of this are you truly in control of? Are you really creating your reality? That's just really it. Like, and that's not to say that you cannot opt into those things. There's like
Yeah.
things can be true at once. You choose what you want to opt into when it benefits you, however that benefits you. If you
Yeah.
decide, you know what, this year I haven't voted all my life. This year I'm actually interested in a particular outcome, and I know that this may be a way to create that outcome. By all means, go and have a blast. But it's understanding the psychology behind why you're doing what you're doing and saying, okay,
Right.
I'm going to opt into this because it serves the bigger vision, the wider picture, the community, the world in this particular way. And that's the way that I'm drawn to at this moment in time. But it's that thing once again of like freeing yourselves from believing that you have to take on these constructs and these boxes and this has to form part of your identity, when really it's just a pathway that you're choosing. That's
Yeah. Exact. 100%. 100%. And it's like it's not even about what you're doing. it's expansion begins when you realize that you have a choice. You
That
have
part.
there's like you like what you said about opting into stuff. So many people don't realize that that's what they're doing. They don't realize that they are opting in,
Mhm.
because that also means you can opt out. So many people accept things as just is, like what you were saying about politics. So many people, it doesn't occur to them that there is potentially another reality outside of this realm, because it's all different games, and you can choose to play. It's not about whether or not it's right for you to play or not. No, it's about realizing that you are your own authority, and if you are playing, it's by choice.
That's it right there. That is
That's
the powerful part that those who understand will get it. It's not something you have to explain. You get to a point along your experience, as long as you're open to expansion, where you will recognize certain things along the way. And that is one of them. Like this is like it, life is full of choices.
yeah,
And it's you start to stray away from looking at things black and white,
yeah,
good, bad, yes, no. It's too that binary way of thinking um is limited
yeah,
because there's nuance to everything. And it's like when you
absolutely.
recognize that you have the choice in doing certain things, you have the choice in participating, and that whatever you focus on, you create more of. So if there is something that you want to do and that you want to create, focusing on actually doing and manifesting and creating those things. But once again, it's down to how much you actually truly believe and resonate with that idea. And that's not to say that you will automatically just one day believe it to the depths of your core. Sometimes for some people, it's a process. For others, it might be a switch overnight. Something happens and they take it as far as they can possibly take it as a
Yeah,
human being. Great for whatever that path looks like for you, but understanding that you have a choice in this experience and
yeah,
you play this game however you decide. There are no wrongs and rights. Yes, we even down to things that you may believe are morally and ethically wrong and right. We've chosen that. And that's not to say that I don't have those things. Of course, I have these codes that I adhere to and that I agree with. Why? Because I've opted in. I
yeah.
know that for this society, there are certain no-nos. There are certain things that to me are absolutely disgraceful, diabolical, and I've taken it on as a truth. But know
But
this,
you know that you've done that.
I've taken that on as a truth,
Yeah,
right? In order for me to live and function in the way that I do and to have the other agreements that I do and to ascend and grow the way that I desire to, these are things that I've taken on as truth. So when you understand that, you realize, oh, I can actually do this with like other things.
yeah. I, it's. I feel like this is why it's really a great thing that science is catching up to studying consciousness,
Mhm,
because when you can have the masses really starting to understand who they are behind these meat suits, and starting to view things through the lens of consciousness, the whole conversation about everything changes.
mhm,
And so and it's helpful as well, because we have so many spiritual practices and religions that exist, all attempting to explain the same thing. But it's like there is, when you're just looking at consciousness as a whole in isolation, without the extra things that humans have put added onto um within their explanations, it's helpful for people, because I feel like in a lot of spiritual practices and religions throughout time, there have been a lot of unanswered questions, which deters a lot of people, or not only just unanswered questions, but things that just haven't made sense. And while there are loads and loads of people who are happy to kind of walk blindly, so to speak, and with that faith, there are people who want that mind spirit resonance
mm,
um, when it comes to what this existence is beyond this
Mhm.
realm. And I feel like the studies of consciousness is going to be really, really pivotal in helping to awaken so many people, because I feel like a lot of people do, they feel like there's more, but there's so many conflicting ideas and information out there. It can be hard to really tap in. But it's like, I feel like something that we're also about is not like honing in on any particular one,
Mhm.
but like reminding people like take in all the information that you want to take in. You don't
Mhm.
have to look at anything through a particular lens, because
Mhm.
it's one consciousness.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And, like you said, with the mind spirit resonance, that is a really important factor for so many. And it is something that a lot of people over the centuries have maybe been in, like there's been conflict there.
Yeah,
They can feel that something resonates, but at the same time, the intellectual side of them, the mind side of them, something's not adding up, right? And that doesn't discount or doesn't diminish what resonates as truth. It just means that there's a certain level of walking by faith that many have had to have about certain things.
yeah,
And in this current climate, like you said, with science really helping to explain certain things, it is a pivotal moment in history with access to AI and just so many other technologies. And I also want to be clear the difference, like we're talking about science. We're not talking about the ideology of scientism, which
yeah.
believes
Different
everything is
things.
like things develop, everything is develops from matter. And so, for example, you know, consciousness doesn't lie outside of the brain. It's like our brain creates it
Yeah,
versus
that's not what.
understanding that
Yeah,
it's like another whole aspect to this existence that
yeah.
we are tapping into. I truly believe that we're tapping into. That's why things like the telepathy tapes, suddenly people are like, hold on, wait, what does this actually mean? Because if you didn't learn a language and you know a language, where did you get that from? Because it didn't come from your brain, did it? Well,
No, the,
it's just little things
it
like that.
shows me that
It's something
it's
so much
beyond the brain.
beyond beyond us, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I would definitely advise those who don't really know or understand much about the difference between science and scientism to kind of do just a little deep dive to get some clarity, because I think those terms can be are often misused or used interchangeably, but the context, the definitions between the two are kind of different, but
yeah,
actually very um, impactful
yeah.
depending on which one that you're using. So yeah, we're in a great time right now. There's so many conversations that I'm looking forward to diving deeper into on this podcast. I think even another episode of us diving even deeper into her Emerald Club alone and what that is, expanding, exploring,
Yeah.
even showing up on our launch what the app looks like and the different functionalities. There's just so
Yeah,
much. Telepathy tapes is another conversation I want to have. I
a
think
whole conversation.
another conversation on just the quantum field with what's that doctor's name? Oh, I can't remember.
Federico,
Yes,
Federico Pagine.
yeah, something like yes, Federico
Yeah,
Vagine. That was a phenomenal conversation.
yeah.
Also,
Oh,
some
yeah,
other things and whatever else is happening in the current climate. So,
yeah,
yeah, this is just an introduction and a beginning to who knows what at this point in time
yeah.
is.
Well, we have the wait list.
Mhm,
So, if you do want to, we're going to be diving in to early access and other stuff with the women who sign up to our wait list
mhm.
for the app. So, you can go on there at heremeraldclub.com,
Perfect.
and it will be in the link as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely join the wait list, because we've got
Join
so
us on
much in
Threads.
store. Hmm?
As in join us on Threads as well.
Yes. Oh, Threads. We are on Threads heavily, heavily on Threads. Such a beautiful community on Threads. So
Yeah.
join us over there. We'll put everything in the description. But yeah, we're excited for this first wave of goddesses who come through, and join us in
Something
this
special in
emerald.
store for the first wave of goddesses.
Yeah.
There's something special in store because there's nothing like being a part of the beginning of something
Oh,
great. there's nothing like it. And when you resonate with what's going on and the fact that you are taking time to even show your interest in what we've got going on, like, yeah, we've got something special in store for the ladies
Yeah,
who want to sign up. But yeah, I'm truly honored and grateful that this is even a path that I have been a part of. This is beyond us, as I always say. This is so much
yeah,
bigger. You and I coming together and doing this like vessels at this moment in time, vessels
100%.
for something that is going to impact so many in such a phenomenal way.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm truly, truly
yeah,
grateful.
yes,
I don't think we
yes.
said our names.
That is,
I don't think we said our names. For those who don't know,
you'll find out. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
and really quickly, I am Marie Antoinette Price. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads. We'll put our details in the description. And my wonderful sister,
Olivia, Alexis Grant.
yes. And yeah, we're devoted to just this divine feminine community in multiple ways. We have multiple ventures that we'll dive into.
Our
But
stories are a whole video. That's a whole separate video in terms of who we are, how we even got here into this position.
yeah,
Just yeah. Stay tuned for that.
stay tuned.
Where we reside in the world
Yeah.
at various points.
There's just so much to it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that video as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I think we'll leave that there for today.
Yep. Yep.
It's been great.
It's been great.
Catch you on the flip side.